Hello, everyone. Greg Wood here, co-founder of Archivist. I'm going to walk you through a long-form campaign setup process, and I'll answer some common questions at the end of this video as well. This is going to be quite a bit longer than the very brief one we have also on Archivist Academy, so feel free to jump around as you see fit. So getting started, I just created a fresh trial account. That's what we're seeing on screen right here. So if you're just entering the platform, this should be the exact same thing you see or something similar. Really, this is about setting up your first campaign. We actually create it for you with this tile here. If you click into this, it skips one screen, although you can always change it later. I'm going to go ahead and delete this and then start fresh, but I will explain what you would see if you just clicked right into that. I just want to go through the full process. So that's going in and deleting. And then let me go ahead and just refresh very quickly. All right, so it comes up. So to create a campaign, you're going to go ahead and click this Create New Campaign button in the bottom right-hand corner. It's going to open up this drawer, and this is where you're going to input some basic information for your campaign. Name, system, language description, and so on. So let's go through and just put placeholder. Let's do that. System, it can be anything. We'll just go ahead and pick Homebrew. Not that it really matters. In English, we've got a variety of options here. You can pick from whatever suits your group, including multi-language if you play in numerous dialects. You can find out more information about what dialects we support or languages we support, on our documentation page. This description is really just for you. The AI doesn't actually use this, but I'll just put placeholder text in there for now. And then if you have a cover photo that you already have in mind, if you want to generate one, click generate, write whatever you would like. There's some examples here of mythical forest with ancient ruins or whatever suits your group. I'm going to skip this now. You can edit any of this information later, and we'll walk through that process when we get there. But I'm going to walk through the initial campaign configuration, and then we'll talk through how to edit it and invite folks and all of that. So we'll skip that for now. We'll come back to that later. Let's go ahead and hit create. And this is going to then take us into cast configuration. So what is cast? Common question we get. This is effectively the real life people that are playing in your game. So it's the real life person, say Greg Wood, who is playing a character. That character is Gundren Rockseeker. You would put in that relevant information. So Greg Wood, Gundren. If you're playing on Discord, it's important to input their handle. That's the Discord handle itself. This is what we're looking for here. We'll put it on screen as an overlay just right there. And then if there's an alias for Gundren, let's say he goes by Gunny or something, you want to put that in there as well. Essentially what you're trying to reflect here is how this character is going to be referred in session, whether that's live or if it's going to be written in shorthand, if you're going to do raw notes, whatever that may be. And then a character description is also helpful for the initial IDing of said character. So let's say a dwarf barbarian. So go ahead and add that player, add your next character, Joe Schmo, playing whomever. I can't even make it up right now, but you can continue doing that. If you need to make edits or deletes, you can go ahead and do this however you need to do it until you are your entire party all set up and configured. Now, you don't need to add the GM in this case because the GM is by default going to be set as you, the account owner, but you can customize that later as well. So let's go ahead and skip this. I'm not going to add all the characters from this fictional campaign anyway, but you would continue to add your characters until you're all set there. And as all of these things, they can be updated and edited at a later time as well. So let's hit next. And this gets to the last portion, which is step 3, which is customize your tone. This is an optional step, but if you want to have Archivist provide its responses to you in a certain way that fits your party, you can go ahead and customize that here. So that you can go ahead and select from any one of the presets that we have. By default, we have some options we have some defaults for you to select from. You can also write in your own, but just to walk through what each of these are. So there's campaign and session recaps. These are the ones you'll get after every single session. If you want that to be in, say, bullet points in sort of a murder mystery style, you can write exactly that. If you want Ask Archivist, which is our campaign chatbot, to write in a certain way, some folks like it as sort of like a snarky AI, like say Jarvis from Iron Man, or whatever works for you. Entities, those are your characters, factions, and locations. If you want those to be written again in a certain way or style, you can write it here. Your highlights, and then also image gen. This one's a little bit different. If you are going to use AI image gen, you can write in a certain theme for this as well. And again, all 5 of those have different presets you can select from here. So I'm going to go ahead and use this lush or cinematic. But the idea is that you'll have some consistency in that output for whatever Archivist is going to provide for you. One piece of advice I would give if you're going to write in your own is I would encourage you to add essentially don't include titles, headers, or section names often in your written description. And the reason for this is the AI tries to be complete in what its output is. Our default prompts have this a lot, but it's always good to reinforce this if you're going to customize your own. Now, we've seen some titles kind of leak through, but I do recommend that you go ahead and add that. Certainly, if you're seeing them slip through and you don't really want them in there. But that's effectively it. So you can customize your tone. You hit finish. And then your campaign is all set up. So it's just kind of saving in the back end right now, and you're ready to run your first session. If you're a trial user, you wouldn't have seen that first basic information drawer from before. You would have jumped right into campaign cast and then also customize your tone. Now you can edit that at any time. There's this gear right here on the breadcrumbs. You can just hit edit. It's going to pull out this drawer. You can edit the name, description, system, update an image if you would like right here. There's other ways to do that, which we'll get to in a moment. But that's essentially the same information you can edit at any time. So just to if you're a trial user looking, that's what you were missing before that you can now do. And then also from this dial, you can go to hit settings, and this is going to effectively open it all up to your campaign settings. That you can adjust and tweak anything you would like. So let's walk through these in just a few minutes. So first off, these are the same settings we just looked at, the system you're playing in, the language you're playing in. If you don't want to use image gen, AI image gen, you can turn that off. We've got some tooltips here that you can read for more information, but you just toggle that off. If you want to publish your campaign, which essentially means this gets put on our landing page, so no login is required for anyone to view it. You can share it with your party or your friends, family, or anyone that's interested in it. That's a good option for you. There's just a publicly available link that's generated. That's how you would turn that on as well. This is another option to add a campaign cover photo. Again, you can upload your own. You can also generate something with a prompt. Again, whatever you would like to fit for your party's needs. And of course, no campaign photo is required. Here's the same option to customize the tone. And this can be changed anytime. You're not locked into any one setting. If you want to play with it for one session and then tweak it for the next, feel free, have fun with it, and just see what works best for you. Now, this next section is cast. So current players, invite players, and then cast down below. We already added one member of cast during campaign setup, as you recall just a couple of minutes ago. This is where you can add some more. So you can add cast member, same fields that we saw previously, just in this drawer format versus previously. You do have the option to add additional game masters if you would like, but it's the same fields. So name, their Discord handle if you're playing on Discord, what role type they have. The options are player, NPC, or other. You might be wondering what's other for. If you want to add someone as a cast and they say to have a surprise role coming, you can leave that as other for maybe a reveal in session if you have other folks that are invited to your campaign and you want to preserve that secret for them. And this will populate characters that have already been created, which we'll talk about in a moment as well. So I skipped these two. Let's talk through them. But this is really where you would invite your real life players to the campaign. It's all done via an invite system. Type in their email, hit send. That'll be a pending invite that they'll get an email from. They'll see it, they accept it. Once they do, they'll be added to the campaign and you would see them here as well. You can then manage your current players, give them additional permissions. If you want to have someone have, say, admin access, effectively giving them the same permissions that you have as the account owner, you can do that. By default, they have just a player access and they can do very minimal things, but they can still engage with the world. They can ask the chatbot questions about the world. And so there's a lot of value to still having that. But the default, again, is that player view only. All right, so I switched accounts just to have a campaign that is fully configured and show some of the additional features and functionality of the campaign settings. First off, though, just to demonstrate how we actually get to this screen here. So we are on our profile, found via the top nav, and then on the campaigns tab. One other way you could actually do this is if you go back to your campaigns and you select this three dot icon, hit settings. That'll bring you back to the same spot as well. And you can also do this within the campaign page, but we did that before. So let's do some frequently asked questions for this campaign, mostly surrounded on cast. We'll actually review cast again and some players, then also we'll do some find replace. So first off, how do I configure my cast? And how do I invite them? We did a couple of those demos previously, but just to hone in on some extra elements. So again, if you need to invite players, you do that via the invite players to campaign, type in their email address, hit send, they'll receive an email, they can accept the invite. If there's a character or a PC character that is yet to be claimed, they will actually be able to be prompted to claim them in their account configuration and setup. So we try to make that easy to link folks up. You can see here I actually have 2 other invites sent out that are pending, so you can see the status of them, and you can delete the invites that are pending as well if you need to do that for whatever reason or someone leaves the party. You can remove them. So here's some existing players that are already linked up to this account. Name, email, and then elements you can do. You can remove them from this cast or the campaign. And also if you have someone that is a co-GM or someone that you just trust to help manage Archivist and the campaign within Archivist, you can promote them to admin status. Just hit that toggle right there. You'll see that the permissions have been updated, and then they can actually see the same exact screen and do the exact same thing that you're doing. By default, players who are not admin have limited functionality by design. We don't want them to burn through a bunch of credits or image gen that you don't authorize them to have. They can still interact with the Ask Archivist chatbot and certainly navigate the page in the site as you would expect, but they just can't modify a lot of things that you might have already set up and configured. So that's the current player element. And then in cast, this is really where you can go ahead and configure and edit things as you would need. Again, as a reminder, cast are the real life players, the real life humans, and the characters they are playing. So we have our 4 cast members set up here. If they are a linked user, this means they've created an account within Archivist as well. They'll be signified as such. The default column essentially is saying that for every session thereafter, this player is by default going to be assumed to be included. This can be edited and adjusted every single time. Just deselect that. And then that will assume that Dominic is not there in the next session. And again, this can be changed at any time. We certainly recommend you do adjust this. This can be done here in the campaign settings, and also it can be done at the time you log a session. Unless you're playing on Discord, you can't configure that within the Discord portal itself, so you do it here. But we do encourage you to configure your cast for every single session. It ensures the highest amount of accuracy. Essentially, if someone is not present that you say is, the AI is looking for references to them that might not necessarily be there, looking for connections. And the opposite is also true, where if someone is there and is told that they aren't, the opposite could be possible. We haven't seen a lot of issues with this, but we certainly recommend that you try to get your cast configured for every session for those real life players who are present. The next thing you can do is edit cast members. So we already have Dominic in here. If you need to change the name, or maybe he just goes by Dom and not Dominic, we do encourage you to use the name that he's referenced to, kind of casually within the session. If you need to update a Discord handle, if the role changes session by session, again, this can be changed at any time. And if there's maybe this character isn't in one session and he's playing a one-off character in the next, you can add characters and adjust and swap them out so that you can do any of that at any time. And if you need to delete them for whatever reason, you can do that as well right there. All right, so last up, let's talk find and replace. Now, this works like many word processors have. One common pitfall with speech to text, and certainly in fantasy languages, is that words are difficult to spell. So speech to text is going to do its best to transcribe what interesting names and words come through your sessions and stories, but it's not going to always get that right. So if there's commonly a word that's misspelled, let's say Talbot in this case is transcribed with 4 T's for some reason, you could just input the misspelled Talbot with 4 T's and as the find, and the replace would be the correct spelling of Talbot with just the 2 T's, one at the beginning, one at the end. And then every single time that there's a new session and a transcript ran, that rule will run and correct that mistranscription to make sure that there's a high degree of accuracy. I will also mention you don't have to have these rules be persistent. That if you want to just clean it up one time and that's it, you can set it up that way as well. But if you want to have it be persistent, meaning it runs every single session, you can configure that as well. And there's some options to filter and select when you want rules to run, or if you want it to run for a specific subset of sessions or elements, you can do that right there. So that's it. If you have any other questions, feel free to join our Discord, ask some questions there, send us a note, submit a ticket, and we'd be happy to field those. Thanks so much.